You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Narrative Podcast. I am your host, Halsey Allen. Hope you guys are doing good today. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. Kind of on location today, so apologize for any things you might hear in the background. But yeah, I'm not at my usual spot for the broadcast, but it's okay. We're gonna get through it. Welcome all my narrators. Welcome anybody new to the podcast. Welcome. I will break it down what I do here for my newcomers, people that have not listened to the podcast before. And I'll also be breaking down my format. I have this podcast divided into sections, and I will go over each section as I come to them. So the premise of this podcast is basically to promote Black positivity, Black reciprocity, and destroy negative Black stereotypes. As a matter of fact, the tagline of my podcast is the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative Black stereotypes. And the way I destroy negative Black stereotypes is provide positive frames of reference about Black people and Black culture. So that's essentially what it is I do here. How do I destroy I already told you how I destroy the negative Black stereotypes. So basically, I just tell our stories from our perspectives on our own terms and conditions. The reason why I feel the need to do that is because the media portrays Black people and Black culture in a negative light. And what I do here on my platform is basically I just highlight and showcase us at our best instead of at our worst, because the media, they highlight and showcase us at our worst. They only see, Black people going to jail, fighting amongst themselves, being public nuisances, and basically just painting us out to be a drain on the resources and not a contribution to humanity. And so that's basically what I do on this platform, is just play up all the good things we do in the world and the good we impact our communities and the rest of the world, because basically we set the tone and the precedent for pretty much everything that goes on in the world. We started civilization. Civilization began with us, and we've done nothing but advanced civilization. We've done nothing to take away from it. There's no corner of the globe in the entire world that we ever existed that we did not enhance civilization, that we did not make life easier. We have no record of ever being warlike, bringing war on a region. We don't have a record of ever bringing pestilence on a region. We'd have no record ever of bringing famine on a region. And so, the people that paint us in a negative light, they got a track record for bringing pestilence, war, and famine all over the globe, all throughout time. So basically what I do here is just set the record straight with positive frames of reference about black people and black culture. So, jumping right into it, on my very first section, this section is an open invite to any black-owned business owners, any and all black-owned business owners. If you are a black-owned business owner or know of any black-owned business owners that need free promotion, please hit me up at Passion Webmail at poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type promo. In the body of the email, tell me a little bit about yourself, your business, your product, or service, and I will promote it here on the Narrative Podcast. The more specific you are, the better plug you will have. And I'm doing it for absolutely free. I'm not charging any money. The basic reason why I'm doing it is on the strength of reach one, teach one, doing my part to, help circulate that black dollar in the black community. And so the more you tell me about yourself and your business and product and service, the better, you will get promoted. The more material I have to give you a proper plug, basically. So, because it'll behoove you to, be as transparent about yourself as possible, because it's a proven fact that people spend money with familiar brands. So to create familiarity, you want to be as in-depth about yourself as possible. Like, tell me maybe your educational background. Why did you want to start this business or product or develop this product or service? And then also, what do you do for the community? Do you hire your own? Do you do any type of philanthropy, any type of give back? Do you pay, into charity, any type of charitable events that your business hosts? Do you give back to the community? Because you can't just expect, support from the black community if you don't support the black community. Like that's, where a whole lot of black-owned businesses, fail at. The reason why they're failing is because they're not taking care of the community that they are rooted in. So they already know the plight. They already know the conditions and the circumstances, and they're fortunate enough to have a business. It shouldn't just have a me and mine mentality. So when you are fortunate enough to start a business and your business is doing well, it's just good business sense to take care of the community. On to my next section. This is an actual contest that I've developed specifically for this podcast, the Narrative Podcast. It's called the Chew on This Challenge. And basically, I'm giving you a bulk supply of your favorite snack for participating in my topic. And my ongoing topic is shopping while black. So what I want you to do is just share your most recent shopping while black experience. Try to keep it brief. I don't want a novel, probably 6 paragraphs at max. The reason why I would like to know your shopping while black experience is to, combat it by keeping the conversation going. Because if we don't talk about it, it will continue to keep happening. And, that'll put it out in the universe to form steps to, prevent it from happening, because our lives matter and our dollars definitely matter. We are the biggest consumers in the entire planet, not just in the United States, in the entire planet. Like, e-commerce could not exist without black people. We love buying stuff. We are the biggest consumers in the world of any product. And it's a fact. It's more than it's big facts. Um, Another false narrative is that we are also, the brokest, and that's just not true because a lot of us are, you know, very fortunate, and that wealth gap is closing. It's still a substantial wealth gap here in the United States, and I'm pretty sure abroad as well. But the wealth gap is closing. There are a lot more of us now that are, have more than a little bit. But I digress. I just brought that point up because another thing I do here on this platform is dispel and dismiss, you know, false information and false narratives. So they keep on painting this narrative that like black people are broke financially, like all broke. And that's just not true. Um, yeah, so I lost my train of thought. It's a little noisy where I'm at today, but we're gonna get through it. Okay, so to enter the contest is completely free. I'm not charging any money. And to enter, all you do is send me your email address. Send me an email to passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. Now it's the same email address for the free promotion, but how I'm separating it is the subject bar. So to enter this contest, hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host, and in the subject bar, type "chew on this" / or dash, which is ever more convenient for you, shopping while black. If you don't want to type shopping while black, you can just put SWB after the / or the dash. In the body of the email, share your shopping while black experience, and then also include your mailing address so I know where to send your snack. And then after that, you tell me what your snack is. Like, what do you want? And I send you a bulk supply of it. And the game plan is to, once I get your order in, fill it from a black-owned vendor. So I try to get a bulk supply of your favorite snack from a black-owned vendor. So you're supporting my podcast by entering the contest. You're showing me that you're listening because you've entered the contest. Then I'm supporting a black-owned business by purchasing your snack from them. And then you're supporting me. And so everybody's supporting each other. So that's my goal, is to create that, circle of support. In the instance that I cannot fulfill the order from a black-owned vendor, I'll most likely be getting it from, a commercial retailer such as Sam's Club or Costco's. But, that's the goal, to try to get a black-owned vendor to supply your snack. So once again, the name of the contest is the Chew on This contest. And then hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. And yeah, I'll get that off to you, and it's totally free of charge. I'm not charging any money to enter the contest. All I want is your, shopping while black experience. I'm not, charging anything. I want to know. I want to put it out in the universe that this, is still a thing. This happens to black people all over the world, not just here in America. It happens abroad as well. And we need to keep the conversation going. Now, to most black people, who consider themselves quote unquote woke, they might say, well, that's what you get, going somewhere, spending your money somewhere that you're not wanted. And my response to them is be like, hey, you can't tell all Caucasian people are racist against black people. You can't tell by looking. So, and another thing to second my point is we don't have organically black neighborhoods anymore. So therefore, we will have to venture outside of our neighborhoods to, purchase a good product or a service. And, we don't know what type of service we're going to get from behind the counter. We once did have our own organic neighborhoods where, we had our own movie theaters, we had our own coffee shops, we had our own libraries, banks, laundromats, you name it, we had it. We don't have it anymore. We're slowly getting back to it. But until it's like universally across the board, we're always going to have to deal with it. And best way to deal with it is to keep the conversation going, and because the stats don't lie, and money spends. So regardless of what you think about the American dollar, our dollar matters. Like I said, once again, we are the biggest consumers on the entire planet, and all these retailers know it. And most of their ads are targeted to us, specifically to us, through a culture we created through hip hop. That's actually a good segue for later on. I got a speaking point that I want to address, but more about that when I get to that segment. But yeah, I'm gonna put a pin in that there. So to enter the contest, hit me up at passionwebmail at poeticpassion.host. Chew on this in the subject bar / or dash shopping while black. All right, so that's it for that section. And we are official go for the Narrative Podcast. We're diving right into my first official section. And this section is called the Business Highlight. And in this section, I'm highlighting Black-owned businesses. And the purpose of highlighting Black-owned businesses is, again, to provide positive frames of reference about Black people and Black culture. And in this section, I'm highlighting entrepreneurialism and showing that Black people can start their own business if they want to. The types of business owners, purveyors that I choose to highlight are, just regular people. They may have a little bit of college education. They may not have none at all. If they went to college, have extensive college, their business is not, what they went to school for. It's just something they wanted to do, and they found a way to make it happen. I also try to highlight Black-owned businesses that do some type of philanthropy, give back to the community in which they're rooted in some small capacity. They hire their own. They pay into they either have their own nonprofit or they pay into a nonprofit, and just, be upstanding community leaders, and a well-recognized brand. So those are the criteria I use to highlight a Black-owned business. And then also the final highlighting thing, they have to align with my theme. And my theme right now is the season of summer. So these are businesses I think of when I think of summertime. Just, it kind of just go hand in hand. Jeez, gee whiz, I was super tongue-tied. I'm like always tongue-tied, but that took longer than needed to. You know what I'm trying to say. So the theme is summertime. And, in summertime, you usually seems like you have a lot more free time, whether it be work or, the children are out of school usually. If you're going to college, you're usually taking your summer break in college, unless you're taking summer classes. But usually, You have extensive amount of free time that you want to, do an extracurricular activity. And so today's theme is the extracurricular activity you would do. Like, I can't think of, a more leisurely activity to do with either by yourself, with a group of friends, with a family, a date night. That's something very fun to do on date night. It's something really relatively easy to do because it doesn't require a whole lot of expertise or know-how. And it's cool even if you're not good at it. It's just something to do. It's fun, it's exercise, it feels good, and something we've all done at one point in time in our lives. Especially if you live in America, that is the sport of bowling. And so the Black-owned businesses I will be highlighting today are Black-owned bowling alleys. Okay, so up first, and then before I go any further, I gotta clap it up for myself. And why am I clapping it up for myself? Because this is episode 100 for the Narrative Podcast. I've been doing this since last year. I'm still here. My platform's growing. My listeners is growing. All kind of opportunities are opening up. So, that 100, that's that angel number. When stuff just starts materializing in all facets, that just something about that 100. Well, technically, this episode is episode 99 because I had to do, a re-air because of technical difficulties, like the last 20 minutes of an episode in the 90s. I think it was like 96, 97. It had to be 97 or 8 that I had to do the 20 minutes over again because I don't know, like the microphone, it just wasn't recording. But anyway, it was just the last 20 minutes of it, but I had to re-record the last 20 minutes of it. So anyway, I know on my next broadcast that will officially be, episode 100, but for all intensive purposes, this is episode 100. When I share it back on my platform, it'll say episode 100 of the Narrative Podcast. It's actually episode 99, but whatever. I've been doing this since last year, staying consistent with it, staying, locked into the day I picked. And for people that have been following me since day one, you've seen the evolution and the growth. I did not have a format when I first started. I was just talking and talking and talking. I now have my podcast broke up into sections. And each of those sections, I have speaking points. I got a professional sounding, I have, excuse me, my earpiece popped out. I didn't have theme music. I now have theme music. When I started, I didn't have theme music. Now I got theme music. Let's play some. And that's basically how my theme music, that's the intro. I mean, it was longer than that, but something happened and I had to kind of remix it. This is usually what I play on my outro. But, like I said, I kind of mix them up some days. But point being, I didn't have theme music when I first started. And I did not have a professional sounding bumper when I first started. I do now.
With Halsey Allen, the Narrative Podcast. Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
So you get the point. So I'm evolving and changing. So very soon I will be interviewing guests. Very soon I will be transitioning into, from this audio platform into video, doing YouTubes and TikToks and, probably going on other people's show as I'm becoming more popular because I'm getting some pretty famous people hitting me up saying they're messing with it. So, it's all relative in this universe. Everything that you put out comes back to you. And I'm putting out this positive energy about wanting to provide positive frames of reference about Black people and Black culture and destroying negative Black stereotypes. So it's all manifesting. It's all coming full circle. I want to thank myself for, keep going. And I want to thank all my listeners as well for supporting me and giving me the incentive to want to keep on broadcasting. So I appreciate all the support, the blatant support and the subliminal support. That's cool. I really wish, the high profile people wouldn't do the subliminal support because it'd mean like it'd cement me and push me all the way over the top if you just blatantly support it. But, support is support. I'm not looking for I guess they call it clouts. I'm just here, a liaison of the people. That's all. Okay. So now my first Black-owned businesses I will be highlighting today is Kearns Avenue Bowling Center. The address is 163 Kearns Avenue, Buffalo, New York. And the proprietor of the business, his name is Daniel Adams Jr. Telephone number 716-892-331. Kearns Bowling Alley. Oh, and the zip is 14211. Oh yeah, gotta say the web address, kearnsbowlingcenter.com. So you can hit that up on the web, and you can, when you go to this site, you will see all the amenities they offer in addition to just the lane. So you can, you can order your lane online. You can order your food online. They do private parties, all that. Shoe rentals, of course. Bar rentals, of course. So go on. Next time you're in Buffalo, New York, hit up Kearns Avenue Bowling Center and in stride with some of the criteria of the Narrative Podcast, highlighting the Black-owned business, how he gives back to the community, is he has organized a grassroots cleanup committee. So he has a function he puts on annually where he and a group is called the Slow Roll, clean up the community. And that's something very essential. And I think that's something we have gotten away from as a people, because I can honestly say I belong to a youth group when I was young. And in that youth group, we cleaned up our neighborhood. And so even though we may not own any buildings or property, that says a lot, and it does something to, raise your esteem. Because if you live in an animalistic type environment, you will behave in an animal-like manner. And that's kind of the, purpose, the agenda of the powers that be when they do this. When you go to the projects and you see like bars all around the property, bars on the window, they're trying to, subconsciously create or project the image of incarceration. So it's psychosomatic on so many levels, but how we can, a small thing we can do to combat that is just caring about our environment. Like pick up some trash. You can go to your council member, your state representative. You can go petition City Hall to get trash receptacles in the neighborhood. You can get a group and paint over graffiti. Pick up that drug paraphernalia. Pick up those. You can get funding to have medical waste picked up. Pick up those syringes off the ground. Get rid of those crack pipes off the ground. Those heroin and crack baggies or vials, depending on what state you're in. Because some, like on the East Coast, they put it in vials, little plastic vials. So, yeah. So in short, basically what I was saying with that, if we, show we care about our community, it will, it'll elevate the energy. It'll give our young people a sense of pride. It'll show our elders that we have respect for them by taking the initiative just to pick up a loose bit of trash. Because we're all being watched all the time. So we must carry and conduct ourselves as such and be the gods and goddesses of the universe that we are, and, just basically show that we care about ourselves. Because even if we don't own anything in our community is basically an extension of us. Just like you would clean up your home when nobody asked you to clean up. Because when you want somebody to come into your house, you don't want them leaving out the house, talking about how nasty your house is. So if you're living on a block and all you see is broken windows, burned out vehicles, stripped down to the brake pads, just looking like a third world country, and we living in America, of course, that third world mentality is going to ensue. So basically, it's just proper grooming, keeping your neighborhood cleaned up, and we can, establish a rapport with our young people, with the gangbangers, with the drug dealers, with the drug addicts. Because, drug addicts, just because they get sprung out there doesn't mean the drug has completely won. Because some drug addicts, they still do, they still are human beings. If you talk to them and say, hey, man, hey, sis, pick that up. You know what I'm saying? Pick your little mess up. And do it in a loving way, not a way where you're shaming them. They'll keep it clean. Give them something to, that might be their thing to make them kick the habit. Keeping the block clean. Give them $1 or $2. And that, like dope fiends, they network. They'll talk to other dope fiends. They're like, you know what I'm saying? You just got to be positive and put it out in the universe. And I retract that. I didn't mean to say dope fiend, because that sounds like, I'm casting a dispersion or judgments, and I don't do that on my platform. So to all my brothers and sisters that are overly self-medicating to deal with this madness. There is still hope for them. You can change, you can transform, and we all need to be mindful of that and try to help them in that time instead of talking down on them and treating them like they're not human beings. Um, Next black-owned business I will be highlighting is the Open Lane. Or nah, I scratched that. I'm gonna come back to that because I believe it closes doors. I did come across an article about Open Lanes. It was called something else too when it pops up on the Google browser. It's in Harlem, New York. I want to cover it in depth, but it looks like they went out of business. So this is another reason why I'm plugging or highlighting black-owned businesses, especially like bowling alleys and coffee shops and eateries. We need to do everything in our power to keep those places of business open because we know we get treated like crap when we venture outside of our community to, patronize places like that. They don't treat us well. So when we see someone in the community start a business like that, we need to patronize it and be there for them as much as we can possibly be there for them. Because, like I said, our dollar matters. Black Panther broke the box office, and that was all, or the majority of it was black dollars. So don't ever get it twisted about the power of the black dollar. When we pool our resources, we can accomplish some amazing things. All right. So I don't know if it is in existence or is not in existence. The story intrigued me because of the way they started the business. The article said it was like 2 million. They used the equity. The owners used the equity from their home to make the first initial down payment of $250,000 between the both of them, and then they did crowdfunding for the rest of it, and it was open for quite some time. The proprietors' names was Sharon Joseph and Gail Richards, and it was on 125th Street in Harlem. So I don't know if it's still there. It's still not, because I'm coming across different articles calling it by a different name, saying it's closed, and they don't have a website or Instagram. So I don't know. So if you're a Harlem New Yorker, native New Yorker, and you know if it's open or not open, hit me up at passionwebmail at poeticpassion.host, and tell me if Open Lane is still open. But anyway, on to the next black-owned business. This is the Renaissance Bowling, formerly State Fair Bowling, and the CEO, the founding member, is Virginia Douglas. She's the CEO, but she leaves all the orders of operation to her son, Steve Douglas. It's located at 16900 Woodard Avenue in Detroit. Telephone number is 313-368-5123. And I believe the website, they don't have a website. They got a Facebook. So hit up when you go into your Facebook. Just hit up Renaissance Bowling. They have a Facebook page. They don't have an actual website. And you go to Facebook to view all the anonymities of the bowling and events, and they give back because they dedicate their Facebook page. It's like a community page, so everything going on in the Black community in that region of the United States, that's what they dedicate their Facebook page to, in addition to promoting their own business, all their functions, all their mixers, anything going on in the Black community in Detroit, they post on their Facebook page. So that's how they give back to the community. Of course, they're Black owned as well. And I'm pretty sure they hire their own as well. So they're fitting the bill for my highlighting criteria. So Virginia Douglas, the founder, she is a walking piece of history. She is she started over like 30 different businesses in her entire life. She's basically the modern day Madam C.J. Walker. She has started so many businesses in her lifetime. She felt the need to start that particular business to have children in her neighborhood so they can have something, to do. And they don't have to go all the way outside their neighborhood. And that's the premise on which she started the bowling alley. And like I already told you, they give back by basically being a community crier, using their Facebook page to, tell everything happening in the community, promoting other Black-owned businesses and organizations on their Facebook page. So go support the Renaissance Bowling in Detroit. The next time you're in Detroit, if you don't live in Detroit, go support that. And on to the next one. All right, so last business is Euphoria Lanes. The address is 1812 East 30th, Cleveland, Ohio. Telephone number is 216 938 5232, and they do not have a website. They got an Instagram page, so they are the Euphoria _Lanes, and the founders are Chris Brooks and Thomas Norris. And initially, they didn't even want to start a bowling alley. They initially wanted to start like a bar and grill, but I didn't come across any articles that really cemented why they chose to do a bowling alley. But they did a bowling alley, and their business is booming. They're flourishing. You go to their Instagram page, you're going to see they got tons of celebrities that grace their establishment. So it looks popping. Do people even say popping anymore? I don't know. I'm getting old. I'm getting out of touch. But it looks dope. It looks like a very fun time. So their most recent, I think probably their biggest draw to get you to come, it looks like the 85 South people came through and supported. They got pictures of, DC Young Fly and Carlos Miller on there. So That's definitely something to check out. It seems like people in sports entertainment and hip hop come through and support that all the time. So yeah, if nothing else, that, because you never know who you'll bump into. You know, when opportunity will like literally bump into you. So bowling alleys are a good place to network, to do business. Like if you already own a business, um, you know, it's a good place to expand the business, having a business meeting at the bowling alley. Um, you know, it's a good place for, you know, to offer employee incentive to, you know, reward your employees and keep them incentivized to keep up the good work and, you know, all around. Um, Also, I forgot what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought about bowling, but yeah. So it's a good, healthy sport, good way to get exercise. You can do it, you know, with a group of people. You can go all by yourself. You don't have to be super nice with it. Like, you know, if you suck at bowling, it's still like a feel good like sport. Like you don't even care. Like bowling like is low key a fat ass sport. Excuse my language. Like you can go to just the lane and get you a snack in between frames. And it's not like you don't really have to have like coordination and a sense of urgency like all other sports like you know baseball, basketball, football. Like you don't really have to have no real good eye hand coordination to bowl. And it's like, again, like if you suck, it's like who cares? I mean, like if you're with a friend, your friend will probably make a big deal about how bad you suck. But if you're all by yourself, nobody cares. Like, all right, now we're on to the spotlight section, guys. Now, for the record, I verbatim I seriously believe, I have not been disproven. I believe I started the wave for spotlighting because before I added my spotlight section to my podcast, literally nobody online was doing spotlights. Nobody. Like the only people to even like remotely come close to it is the Drink Champs, and they really only kind of their criteria is like it's out of the hip hop genre, and you know they spotlight their guests is usually like veterans, like people that been doing it like 10 years or longer. So my spotlight section is pretty much any black person doing something positive, has used their platform to speak to the condition, has given back to in some capacity. Um, Now the types of people I spotlight are usually entertainers, usually athletes, actors, actresses, directors, writers, etc. Comedians, public figures, you know what I mean? But still, I think I started that wave. Yes, I believe I started that wave. Um, I'm gonna give you a heads up because I might have to split this section into two parts. And the reason being is because it's just like I'm getting like weak signals, so I don't know the clarity of the way I'm broadcasting. So if I hit the pause button and take a really long pause to get back to you, that's why. So I'm just giving you the heads up. If you hear a big, really long pause in the broadcast, or if just like it's two sections of the podcast, then that's why. But anyway, on to the spotlights. Today's spotlight comes to you, Mrs. Chef Carla Hall. Carla Hall was raised in Nashville, Tennessee. She graduated from an HBCU, Howard to be specific, with a degree in accounting. She went on to Prince Waterhouse to become an accountant. Then after that, she went, let me see. Oh, geez. Trying to get my notes together because, I'll be writing all over the place. And then it seems she became a certified public accountant. Like Prince Waterhouse was in Tampa, Florida. So while she was there, and then her early cooking career was she graduated from l'Académie de Cuisine, it's some French stuff, in Bethesda, Maryland. And then from there, she went to Henley Park Hotel on an externship. So I'm familiar with an internship. I'm not familiar with the term externship. So in externships, do you get paid? Because I know when interns don't get paid, they do it for free. But anyway, after that, she became a sous chef. And I'm just summarizing. I'm not going to read her whole resume down. She's also been on the 5th and 8th season of Top Chef. And she also appeared on the Chew ABC network. She's also even been on Sesame Street, and I think she did a soap opera. I can't remember which one, but she's been on the soaps too. I'm personally choosing to highlight Miss Hall and give her roses while she's still here to smell them, because she's always, to my experience in watching her in interviews, has not been shy or bashful about talking about the plight of Black people, and basically food, expressing herself through her food, and because food is a cultural expression, and she uses her food to express herself, her culture, her upbringing, and her roots. And she's she seems very quirky. She's real quirky in a good way. So what I say by quirky, I mean, she's not trying to be transparent or fake, because a lot of those Food Network personalities, that's exactly what they are. It's just a personality. She got them big old glasses, and, she ain't trying to throw on no airs. Another thing that I appreciate about her, she's very knowledgeable, has, knowledge of our culture. And she is the one, through an interview I saw her in, that hit me into how the negative Black stereotype came about of Black people and watermelon. So I was watching an interview of hers, and basically what it was when they finally did give us our freedom. Black people were showed was really exceptionally well in agriculture, and watermelon was like a cash crop. And most of us that came over here on the slave ship, we carried that ancestral knowledge, and we knew how to cultivate the watermelon. And whereas Caucasian people did not, it wasn't, they had inferior, melon crop. They wasn't skillful at cultivating watermelon, and black people were. And so what they would do is they just basically they weaponized it because they did not want, black people to be able to support themselves financially. So they would come up with these, the cartoon with the really dark skinned black person with the dark skin and pale lips eating watermelon, and they will put it in magazines and just basically, try to perpetuate, the negative black stereotype of black people being lazy and black people loving watermelons, when it was just actually, we was just really skillful in displaying ingenuity on being able to, cultivate that particular crop, because it was a cash crop in the South. So if you didn't know, watermelon helps keep you cool, helps regulate the body temperature, all kinds of health benefits from watermelon. The lycopene, it hydrates your cells. It's very refreshing, good for you. And the seeds is good for your vitality in male and females. So, she helped dispel some negative black stereotypes by having that knowledge. So, and putting that knowledge in the universe about that. So that's why I kind of appreciate her. And these days, she's doing a lot of plant-based stuff. She's making down home cooking more health conscious. So she's leading the charge on that. She got a lot of plant-based sponsors now. And she's always, seems like she's advocating for, the plant-based to eat raw and to eat more, vegan stuff. I don't like that term vegan. I just, I ain't trying to sound like that's some white people shit. Like vegan, like you just eat plants for healthy, to be healthier. Because some of them rules is just like dumb, like not eating, saying fig is not vegan because the bumblebee dies in the plant, so it's not vegan. Like, you dummy, it's nature. It does it in nature. Like, no human beings killing the bee. It's just something that happens in nature. So, like, just a whole lot of stuff that doesn't make sense, saying honey is not vegan. So don't get all those health benefits from honey, from like real deal honey, not the stuff you buy in stores, but probably the stuff you will find along the side of the road from like people that harvest the honey. Don't eat that and get all those nutritional benefits because it's not vegan. Like, anyway. It didn't come from animals, is what I'm saying. So if it didn't come from animals, it shouldn't be like, you know what I mean? Anyway, so that is why I was giving her the spotlight today. Salute to Mrs. Carla Hall. And I'm going to give her a narrative podcast round of applause. All right, and on to my second to the last section. This section is called the health and wellness section. And in this section, I basically give tips to promote the healthy, active, fit lifestyle. The reason why I'm doing it is basically to combat this invisible, do my part to help combat this invisible thing. Because a healthy, active lifestyle is a complete package. It is keeping your mind sharp, your body on point, and your spirit intact. All right, I'm going to take a brief pause. Testing, 1, 2. Yeah. So I had to pause that for a brief second. Because like I said, it's just like I'm in a different location and it's kind of, I don't know, I'm getting some funky vibes. I might have to put a pin in here on this section and just upload the last half of the broadcast because, yeah. But anyway, the reason why I'm doing this section is to promote the benefits of, health and wellness. And just because you pursue a healthy, active, fit lifestyle doesn't necessarily mean that you will be healthy and fit. Because you are going to get sick. Getting sick is a part of life. And, all human beings, all living organisms become ill.